guys, and then look at the women that he's dealing with now.
And fresh
Men's
too.
taste changes and adapts and improves as their value improves. So men typically say they like, because it's a cope, the type of women that they can attract. But the reality is, if they can get a more attractive woman, they will. Men universally prefer not to be with fat women in most situations.
You ever heard that saying, women fuck who they want, men fuck who they can?
Yeah.
That's pretty much the same thing.
That's a perfect saying for this,
example.
yeah.
So
but also,
they're just
I'll say
settling.
this though. African niggas are different. Just like fucking fat bitches. I don't know what it is. But y'all niggas for African, man.
They love hippos, man.
In them guts.
That might be a slow Tuesday, but like, bro, in general, they're gonna take the model. Like, they're gonna take the model to be more consistent with, to show around their friends and stuff. You might get the fatty on a slow Tuesday and no one sees. But yeah, men typically will sit there and cope and say, "Oh, I like this type of girl," but you'll see directly that woman aligns with what he can actually attract.
So guys left you for a fat girl?
Oh, no. Don't get into, they left me for an ugly girl.
Ugly?
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
my ex left me. He cheated on me with my ex best friend. And she was
Your ex?
fat. She was fat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, bro, I'm 117 and she's like legit like 150, 160.
Hey, man, you didn't go hard enough, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
she had a fat ass. Like, what's the difference?
No,
like, big
I'm
tits?
sorry. Well, I hate her, and like, if you see this, you look like a fucking fridge. I'm sorry. Like, dude. No, bro. I don't know.
And we don't support bashing women, okay?
Fat shaming friends.
Yeah, no, but she's different, bro. Like, I mean, she got deported to Colombia.
Oh, shit.
So that's why.
So she's Colombian.
Yeah.
Fat ass though.
Bro.
No.
She doesn't look Colombian. When I broke up with him, I called her. I was like, yo, we broke up. And then she went to his house, gave him chocolate, and they just started dating.
Chocolate?
Right? Yeah. Listen. She was looking only for the papers because he's white.
Damn.
Oh, okay.
She got the papers, though.
Oh, she got it?
Congratulations.
Oh, she did?
Huh?
She got papers from Homeboy?
Yeah, from my ex. Yeah, because
she's
she got
smart.
deported to Colombia. She had to go in like 6 months. So, yeah.
So she's back?
Yeah, she's still here. I don't know where
Yo, your boyfriend's an L, bro. Just saying.
Ex, no, yeah.
Nigga cheated with a fat one and give papers?
Yo, she probably has.
Tell this nigga what he is, bro.
What, him?
Yeah, him.
We on Twitch and shit, so I can't really
Mo,
say it, man.
Get off Twitch. Get off
it's on
Facebook
Twitch.
and Twitter. Let's see on Rumble for now.
No, man, he is a simp. Sorry, Mo. But end of the day, man, he just, should probably get good head, good attention. So something that you probably wasn't giving him.
Oh shit!
Because at the end of the day, if a guy is looking elsewhere for sex, and you're like, you know what, I'm doing this because how long you been dating before?
I didn't fuck him. We lasted a month.
Exactly. That's right.
I didn't fuck him. I didn't really like him.
Yeah. So
no, hold on. You didn't like him, or you?
Yeah. Okay, he was my best friend, and I was like, okay, we can try.
Friend zone.
Okay.
Yeah, we can try because I liked him.
So your fat friend needed the green card, so she tried the first date.
Yeah, she fucked.
So she's like, hey,
yo, she said chocolates.
Yeah, chocolates.
She knows how to use the pussy. She knows how to use that.
Well, she's in America, so she definitely does. But at the end of the day,
that makes sense now because you didn't even smash the dude. He's like, yo, she's smashing me. All right.
Listen,
he was a virgin too, though.
If
so
a girl, it doesn't matter, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
so imagine. Okay, that makes sense then. Because once again, he's a virgin. Chocolates. Hey, wants a pussy too? Sure.
Hey, listen.
Let's do it.
A man has to eat. You know what I'm saying? So if he sees a dying, hippo, a fat hippo, he's gonna eat it.
Wow.
It's a nice gazelle, like your gazelle, like you're in shape, and if the hippo is like almost dying, he's gonna eat it. He's a lion. He has to eat something.
Wait a second. You went to Rolling Loud?
Yeah.
Man, she belongs to the streets, man.
Wait. Hold on.
She belongs to the streets.
That was like months ago.
Yeah, but I don't want to take it.
Bruv.
Wow, she.
I don't know. I like it. I like it.
It's been too much now. That's too much. Nobody got your ass.
A lot of girls do that though. They go to EDC or music festivals and they keep it on.
But for months?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you,
man?
Any assumptions, questions, comments you want to bring up at the beginning?
No, I don't really have any.
What were you told before coming on the show then?
I just got a message yesterday, and because I teach yoga and do like these nutrition and integrative health podcasts all the time. I just glanced at it, like Fit and Fresh. He said number
Fresh
one podcast. I'm like, okay,
all right, yeah.
They're gonna ask me about yoga, Pilates, fitness, anti-aging, something, whatever.
No,
and I'm like, okay. Then I go to bed, wake up, and I'm like, well, I asked him, like, do I need to prepare? Like, what topic do you want me to speak to? Like, what? He's like, no, nothing. Just,
Just come.
men, women dynamics. I'm like, okay.
See? Easy.
She even knows what she's getting into.
No, but one thing I do want to say, just being the older person on here, I do
Facts.
feel like this whole like being bigger, okay thing is a generational thing. Like back in my day, I grew up in Southern California. You didn't fucking go to the beach with a bikini on if you were fat. You didn't do it. No one did it. It was not acceptable. Keep the shit covered. It wasn't cool. Like my mom was a model. I grew up like, literally, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but she, like, if I went to eat something that wasn't, in 5th grade, she'd be like, no, not cool. Don't eat that. You already had pizza this week. Chill it out. And I feel like today that's just not the, the way it is. Like you go to South Beach, it doesn't matter if you're 300 pounds, you have a bikini on. No one gives a shit, and it's like, I feel like it's numb. It's like a callus. Like I'm so used to seeing everyone being so fat. And I'm not trying to be an asshole about this. I'm just
okay.
saying,
You're fresh and fit. Say what you want.
We've gotten to this point where like it's literally okay to just walk around like 300 pounds. But yeah, and then in the end they're gonna drop dead and not even know they did anything wrong because they didn't even know they were that fat. They didn't know it was that dangerous. They didn't, So.
They know.
You know it's bad. So there's since you guys want to get acknowledged so much, there's an influx of guys that are basically leaving the United States and going to other countries abroad to find women, right? They call themselves passport bros, which I understand. It's a viable solution to the problem here in the United States where a lot of women aren't,
one solution.
Feminine. It's a viable one though, but they're not feminine, they're not attractive, and the obesity problem. And it's funny because whenever these guys, because we're friends with a couple of these guys, they leave the United States for 6 months, maybe a year at a time, and they come back and they're always shocked at how many fat women they see. They're literally shocked. They're like, what the hell? Now I remember why I left in the first place. And it's like nonstop. They leave, gone for 6 months, come back to do a podcast with us or something. Dude, what's up with all the fat women?
Yeah.
And I keep forgetting too. And it hits me too a little bit being here in Miami, because Miami I wouldn't consider is like the United States. It's kind of like a Latin America light, right? Because we have a strong Hispanic culture here. Hispanic women tend to keep themselves in better shape a lot of the times, especially from Colombia, Venezuela, because they understand that their beauty is their main commodity, etc. But once you leave South Florida, you leave Miami, especially you go to Central Florida, etc. You go to Texas, you see that obesity rear its ugly head, and even me, I'm shocked. I'm like, God damn, get me back to Miami. This is terrible. But yeah, I mean, it's really bad. Especially, it's okay if you're like, I still think it's unacceptable if you're a fat guy. But you can at least make up with it if you may have money and status. As a female, if you're fat, it's like, dude, you're literally shooting yourself in the foot.
I feel like you could really stretch it out to not even just like cities or like places in America, but America itself. Like, I feel like, I'm
Merch.
sorry, I can't remember your name, mamas, but like, I feel like someone
Merch.
like, okay.
Merch.
It's okay. Just say you think.
Yeah,
And
I
he'll
guess.
stop.
So like, let's say you go to like France, for example, and you order like a large Coke, they're gonna look at you sideways like, the fuck is a large? You know what I mean? Like even in Europe, like you go there and it is very rare to see obese people. Like I went on a date with this guy from, I don't know, somewhere in the UK, and like man is over here like yeah, like it wasn't even just the fact that like the date itself was so culturally different. Like bro is eating fries and a burger with a knife and fork, but he's like, oh, I don't want a water, like I don't need something to drink, and like, oh yeah, maybe I'm a little thirsty, and this man gets a cup this size, and he's like, the fuck is wrong with you Americans? And I'm like, you can't even say like it's just Americans, it's just so socially acceptable, because I feel like America's sensitive as fuck, because like decades ago, literally like you were saying, like generationally, you're not gonna want a fat ass wife, respectfully, you know what I mean? Like it was so normal to have no ass, and now it's like everyone wants wide hips, everyone wants a fat ass, and then people are like, oh, I'm gonna eat more, it's gonna go straight to my thighs. Okay, period. But that's what I'm saying.
I think you mean as in you want the slim waist with a fat ass, but a lot of girls kind of cheat it and they just get fat, and then they get a fat ass as a byproduct.
Yeah, and they glorify it and they glamorize it, and they're like, you're beautiful, girl, like you're gorgeous. Every guy loves a little tummy, like girl bye.
But that's what I'm not saying now. I'm talking about like we're speaking like 60s, 70s, 80s. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like now, that's what I'm saying is very normalized, and people like you were saying, the body positivity movement. It's like, oh yeah, we need to accept everybody, inclusivity, and all this shit. So it's like they're monetizing words and like they're doing things to accommodate everybody. But at the end of the day, your comedy, like, what the fuck is it benefiting besides people's emotions? You have people dying, you have people with health issues, you have people killing themselves, you have like all this shit happening basically. And it's like, what are you getting from it besides people being happy that they can live how they want?
Well, it's just promoting laziness. Like, just overweight people are just lazy. I was lazy when I was 300 pounds. I was just sitting on the couch. I didn't have to work out. I didn't have to improve my beauty. I didn't have to do anything.
Well, you haven't even had kids yet, have you? How old are you?
No, I'm 18.
Okay, so I mean, I had 4 kids in 4 years. If you are fat at 20 and you haven't had children, I got news for you. Like, shit's gonna get a lot harder once your hormones get screwed up and you have kids. I mean, so I always feel really bad when I see young people fat. I'm like, you haven't even hit the hard part yet. I mean, what's going on here?
But you know, obesity in children is growing at a very fast rate. It's an epidemic. And it's terrifying because you have a lot of young women being like, you're beautiful, and they're 300 pounds, 400 pounds, 500 pounds. I mean, even like 8-year-olds now are like really, really overweight, and it's scary. You're like, you would think that kid is like 10 and he's like 6.
I think what people don't acknowledge is that like a lot of these people that struggle with weight are dealing with a lot of mental health issues, and they might be depressed. But back in the like during the Victorian days, being fat was showed that you had money. So it's crazy to see how times have changed. Like back then, if you were thicker, that means you have some type of wealth, and now it's like if you're fat, it's like you're lazy. But it's like you don't take into account that they might just be dealing with things, and like the majority of the world just likes to brush off mental health and doesn't like to address it.
That's true. They want to medicate, and pills don't build skills.
You know, it's one thing. I kind of like that one. I kind of like how you address, like, you know, like before, like being fat was, you know, like this, that, and a third. But you also have to understand that our worlds are very differently. Like back then, all a man had to worry about is how many bitches he was gonna fuck. Does he have land? Can he eat? Like literal basics. Like, am I wrong? You know what I mean? Like, if we really go back to where like society wasn't really a thing, like your cars aren't even cars. You feel me? So like a man only had but so much to worry about. Women had to do everything. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Like men worked and like did their thing, but like if they're up there like in royalty and status, they're living the dream that the men today want. They're not doing shit. They're sitting on a throne. So what is there to worry about when, like they were saying, high value men, they have money, they have status, pussy's being thrown to them. This isn't a new thing. This is an old thing with new patterns and new habits and new lifestyles, basically.
And going back to what you said about being sensitive, if you're too sensitive, it's like you are harming your own emotional well-being.
100%.
And it's true, like people are too sensitive. Like emotional eating shouldn't be accepted just because you have mental health issues, which by the way, 90% of your mental health issues, you can actually fix yourself with eating right, working out, and taking accountability of your own life. You know, everyone goes through hard things. And if you just let that soak in your own pain for the rest of your life, you will be miserable and you will be fat and you will hate your life. So you have to take accountability. You can't just blame food and other people for your problems, because that's how I got fat and that's how fat people get fat, and they have control. And so this lie that we like to tell them, like, oh, it's okay, you know, it's okay to eat emotional eating, it's okay, is harming them to an extent we don't even see on the surface.
Well said.
I was going to say, because you said that, you know, people might be fat because they're going through something, mental health, depression, etc. Controversial take. Actually, your favorite person, Andrew Tate, actually talks about this, and I agree with him 100%. And I'll take it a step further. Depression, long-term depression, isn't real. And what I mean by that is being depressed is a valid feeling, but long-term depression is typically a valid response to long-term failure. And what I mean by that is being depressed long-term typically means, okay, I'm not accomplishing something, or something is missing in my life, but it's in my control to fix it a lot of the times. So like when guys are depressed, if some guy comes up to me and tells me I'm depressed, I just look at the individual. Do you go to the gym? Most likely not. Are you working on something, like keeping yourself preoccupied, right? Because idle hands do the devil's work.
Do you have goals?
Most of the time, it's no. If I ask a female, are you depressed? It's because maybe she's obese. Maybe she's been traumatized by being promiscuous. She's made bad decisions that potentially led to her being in that state. But a lot of the times, it's self-inflicted and it comes from long-term failure. But again, we live in a very pussified society where, like you said before, pills and no skills, ADHD, ADD, all these like attention deficit disorder things, prescribing people Adderall, etc. It's all a bunch of bullshit. Whatever happened to just telling people that they're fucking stupid? What about telling people, how about you need to just focus harder because it might be a little bit harder for you to focus? Stop being stupid. I guarantee if I went to a psychiatrist right now and said, I have ADD, they'll give me Adderall.
Yeah.
If I said, yo, I have ADHD, they'll give me Adderall. They wouldn't even care because it's so easy to get the shit nowadays because Big Pharma makes money on prescribing new meds. So they're 1,000% incentivized to give you medication for this ailment that you have, which a lot of times just stems from you being a fucking loser and not being adequate. So the mainstream media will never talk about this, but I genuinely think a lot of these diseases, I don't want to say they're made up, but we give people an out and tell them, no, there's something wrong with you mentally. What about you're just fucking stupid and need to work harder than the next person?
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
So when you say like, if you ask a woman like why she's feeling like supposedly like depressed long term, and you said maybe like she had a promiscuous past or something like that. Well, what do you tell that woman to do to better her life? Like you can tell a man like get off his ass and like, you know, go do something.
For women, it sucks more because a woman's past will always come back to haunt her a lot of the time. So with women, this is why I say self-preservation is so important. Women, I look at them as like glass, right? If it's shattered, it's very difficult to pick up the pieces and put it back together. And even if you do put it back together, whenever you pour water in it, it's always going to leak to a degree. And so that's why it's so important for women to preserve their value. But with women, yeah, it's not as repairable a lot of the times. With a man, it's like you're a loser. You can fix it, figure it out. You have time to figure it out. But with women, it's like you get the value up front. So if you spend your, millions that you got given to you, you're kind of fucked.
And I think one of the major reasons why women are depressed nowadays in 2023 is because of social media.
Yeah.
Because girls want to compare themselves to other girls, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm doing well. All of a sudden they see a girl with a husband or a wife, and like, damn, where am I? What's going on? Because I've met girls who don't have social media, and they're happy as fuck. Like they're humming, doing certain things. They're like not even. They're just happy individuals. They have nothing to compare it to. But as soon as a girl like she wakes up out of bed, she starts scrolling her Instagram first thing in the morning, and it fucks up a whole day. She's like, oh fuck, now I have to sit here and oh my, and then you see a girl like these hot girls, like just watch how they fucking move in the mornings, like they're like zombies.
Yo, Chris, you made a good point, bro. Social media. You know what's bad too? Dating apps.
Yeah.
What's with these chicks? Bro, not posting their whole bodies. There's a close up only. I'm like, nigga, you catfish me. You fat as
Catfish of angles and shit. Literally fucked with my mental so much.
I think that's a really good point that you brought up. Social media. Social media, and then also I think a big one is that we lie to women, dude. Like you guys were alluding to it with the body positivity thing. That's one component that we lie to women. Another component that we lie to them is telling them that chasing a career, making a lot of money, being successful, and taking the masculine path is going to lead to long-term fulfillment and happiness. And for a man, he's going to get fulfillment and happiness from achieving success because that's going to increase his sexual options, right? Men are determined, our values determined by what we create. But with women, their values determined by creating children. Unfortunately, having a career and education a lot of times is counterproductive to having children. It'll hurt your ability to do so. And not only that, it'll hurt your ability to do so with the best compatible mate for you because women have a finite amount of time to find the best guy. So we have the body positivity situation. We tell women to chase a career. Tell women to chase money. We tell women to go after these things. And then you have Instagram where they're comparing their life to the Instagram model that isn't even happy because she can't land a guy because she's on OnlyFans showing her butthole for $3.99. Like they're comparing their life to them. They're comparing their everyday to a woman's highlight reel, right? That they might not necessarily even want that lifestyle because they don't see the negatives that comes from sexualizing yourself on the internet. So you compound all these things together, right? Then you got the music industry telling women they're strong and independent. You're single. Go ahead and be sexualize yourself, etc. All these things working in tandem to fuck up their mind. They chase these things. 35 comes. What the hell am I doing? I'm single. I don't have any guy can take me seriously.
No kids.
I have a body count of 91. What's going on here? No guy wants to take me seriously. Yeah, it's really 182, right? And it's like, what the hell's going on here? And then they're like, yo, I'm depressed because I thought this was going to bring me happiness. It hasn't. I was lied to, and being deceived will cause quite a bit of anger. And for women, it sucks because you can't get that time back.
Well, and that's what I'm curious about. Like, what do you say? Like, what do you say to that woman, like, who might be 35 and like regretting her life because you're? Damn.
Well, hold on.
It's rough.
Okay.
But I'm saying to avoid, like genuinely, like to avoid like that long-term depression. Like, what do you say to that woman who feels like she's like ruined her life?
It's too late. I'll add a second part to that. It's too late to get your dream man.
And Chewy.
You gotta
That's what
settle.
I would say.
You gotta settle.
That sucks because we tell women that they're sugar and spice and everything nice, they deserve the best, etc. We tell women that are 300 pounds that they don't need to change. So it's very difficult for women to accept that their actions have negative consequences because we tell women that they can do no wrong a lot of the times, right? So, yeah, it's over, or it's too late for your dream man. You're gonna have to settle with an average guy that isn't the best looking, that isn't charming, that's socially awkward, that might not necessarily be able to send us together charming like fucking Christian Grey. He's not going to seduce you. He's not going to give you the best dick. You might be embarrassed to bring him around to family functions, but this is what you did. Because what women do a lot of times is they're really bad gamblers. They get $1 million, they go to the casino, they stay there all night, gamble away, I'll find a better deal here. No, I'm going to keep going. Oh, keep going. Next thing you know, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Casino closed in an hour, and they're down to $1,000. What are you going to do with that $1,000? Some girls would rather just sit in the casino and let it close than leave with the money that they have, right? AKA stay single. But I say, leave when you're up.
I have a question